Hey Bethlehem, this is Pastor Paul. This past Sunday we began a new sermon series entitled Together in connection with Back to Church Sunday. In this sermon series we are looking at the importance of unity and working together as a community. Here at Bethlehem, our vision is to be a Christian community that glorifies God. And we realize for us to do that requires us to love one another, to serve one another, to serve with each other, as we demonstrate and show the love of God to the community around us. So what is one obstacle that we face in unity? Well, one obstacle that we face is that of conflict. What happens is that we often allow our desires, our thoughts, our opinions, our beliefs to become priority. And when we're in relationship with other people, when we are working with other people, those things are going to come into conflict with what they believe, what they desire, what they think is best. And when that happens, these walls of hostility are raised up. The Apostle Paul addresses this problem in Ephesians chapter 2. Now, Ephesians is a letter that the Apostle Paul wrote to the church at large. He wrote this letter to be read in many different churches. And since that is the case, it deals with issues that the church generally has. And one of these is that of conflict. See, Paul lived in a culture not a whole lot different than ours, because there were a lot of things that divided different groups from one another. There was the Greeks, or the civilized, and the barbarians. There were the masters and the slaves. There were men and there were women. And so there existed these walls of hostility. And within the church, there was this divide between Jew and Gentile. Now remember, Christianity, the gospel, comes out of Judaism. The gospel comes first to the Jews. The Jews are God's chosen people. And they've been taught all their life that the Gentiles are on the outside. And so there's a struggle. You can read about this in the book of Acts. There's a struggle the Jewish Christians have with where do the Gentiles fit in all of this? Do they need to become Jews first before they can become Christians? How does this all work? And so even within the church, there remained this hostility between Jew and Gentile. But Paul writes and he says, no, that's no longer the case. So Ephesians chapter 2, verse 14. For he himself is our peace, who has made the two one and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility, by abolishing in his flesh the law with its commandments and regulations. His purpose was to create in himself one new man out of the two, thus making peace, and in this one body to reconcile both of them to God through the cross, by which he put to death their hostility. So Paul is reminding the Jewish Christians, the church at large, that hey, there's no longer any hostility here. That barrier, that wall that was erected, that's been torn down because Jesus has brought peace. That we are to unify around our faith in Jesus. See, for there to be peace, for there to be unity, there has to be something that we all can hold in common. And for us who are Christians, we say, hey, that one thing that we can hold on to in common is Jesus and his love for us and his desire for us to be part of his kingdom. Paul says, hey, in Jesus, there's one body. There's one new man. We are in this together. And so our big idea is that we find peace together in Jesus. We find peace together in Jesus. And our challenge this week is to pray that God would make Bethlehem a refuge from the world. That in Bethlehem, people will find love and peace and acceptance and forgiveness and mercy. Hey, thank you for watching. I hope to see you on Sunday. God bless.